Hello, everybody. Welcome to CreaTV's 2022 DocuMentorMe screening. Make some noise! I want to thank the friends and family, everyone to coming out and supporting the filmmakers. It really means a lot. I'm also a filmmaker, you know, and seeing friends and family come and I come from an Asian household, so you could even imagine, like, I'm not a doctor or a lawyer, you know? So it's very important, you guys, that you came, you showed face for your future filmmakers. So round of applause for yourselves. Thank you very much. And yeah, you guys, this is a lot of our filmmakers. Well, first I'm gonna name them out. We have 9 filmmakers. We have Kiabet Alcortada Hernandez. We have E. Aclain, Mauricio Granados, Celine Chandler, Xavier Quinones, Henry Fan, Ty Garrett, Alyssa Texiera, and last but not least, On Lee. All right, so let me introduce myself. My name is Gurbshaw Thind. I am a community media coordinator here. I was one of the facilitators / teachers for the DocuMentorMe students. And honestly, you guys, it's been such a joy and pleasure watching y'all go from like not knowing how to make a film to like, it's gonna be screened in a few minutes, which is really, really exciting. You know, I've been through it. I went to film school, and coming here and being able to do it for you guys with the community is such a full circle moment. It warms my soul. I'm really, really excited for y'all. I want our CEO, Chad, to say a couple words about CreaTV. Chad, are you here? Oh, you're right here. Okay. Give it up for Chad, everybody.
There we go. So nice to see everyone here. My name is Chad Johnston. I'm the CEO of CreaTV San Jose. Thanks to Frankie, Gurbshaw, Constance, and all the participants. I didn't have a lot of interaction with the program this year because we were like fully staffed and stuff, which was awesome. But I know the journey that the instructors and the participants have been on over the last 15 weeks. I've watched this program grow since we started in 2019. And it is a journey, y'all. So y'all who are going to see these films and the folks that have been working on them, you have been on a journey. Congratulations. You made it here. For almost 15 years, CreaTV has been helping share the stories of San Jose. We teach the community how to make their own media and how to shift narratives. We produce media for nonprofits on a sliding scale. We help the city and county cover their meetings and get vital information out to the community. And then we distribute this content on our cable TV channels, on the internet, on Roku, on Apple TV, Fire Stick, all those things. We believe that the ability to tell one story can deeply impact the individual, and that those stories can also make our communities be a more just. We believe that media and tech is crucial to our democracy, and we believe in our community that we can make a difference here in our city. So you are joining us in this new space. This is a brand new community center called Open San Jose. This is a project of CreaTV, and we are literally inviting all of you all to co-curate and co-create in this space with us. All the technology, all the spaces you see are available to you and to everyone. We're launching this project with 5 other nonprofits, Chopsticks Alley Art, San Jose Spotlight, NorCal Public Media, Lead Filipino, and did I miss one? No, that's it. Please reach out to any CreaTV staff member if you want to use this space for rehearsals, meetings, convenings, productions. We're here. Thanks to the staff, the community. I also need to thank the Silicon Valley Community Foundation and the California Arts Council for supporting this project. And if you're excited by this work and what we're doing, I would also encourage you to make a donation here at the end of the year. So thanks for your support. Back to Gurbshaw. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Oh, I know we're just itching to see these movies, but real quick, I just want to say a little bit more about the DocuMentorMe program. It's a 15-week free program that provides an opportunity for people in the South Bay Area to explore creative art of storytelling through documentary media production. We hope to empower stories of BIPOC, low-income, working class, and other historically underdeserved communities in San Jose and Santa Clara County. Participants research a subject of personal and community significance, receive mentoring from our professional community media team throughout the filmmaking process, and produce a short documentary about their chosen topic. In addition to mentoring, each participant receives access to production equipment and technical training to cultivate their artistic and media making skills. Additionally, all participants receive a monetary stipend for their time and a free 1-year membership to CreaTV San Jose. And without further ado, let's watch some documentaries. Woo!
My mother was only 14 years old when she left Mexico with her mother and 3 siblings to reunite with my grandfather and her eldest brother. She soon began working in the strawberry fields of Santa Maria, California. My mother has broken her body in the fields for the past 30 years. For 30 years, my mom has woken up at 4 a.m. and worked until 5 in the afternoon to provide for my siblings and I. Santa Barbara County is home to 25,000 indigenous migrants. My mother and our family are among the 25,000. My family comes from the Mixteca region of Oaxaca, Mexico. Our pueblo is Santiago Yuhuyachi. Similarly, a lot of her co-workers are indigenous as well. Mixtecs have come to California in search of agricultural work due to soil erosion in the Mixteca region and economic opportunities. Mixtecs, who are concentrated in labor-intensive agricultural sectors such as strawberries, perform an increasing amount of the back-breaking labor that makes farming profitable and gives fresh fruits and vegetables available to the public. Be aware of my family's occupation and hearing about it daily, I didn't fully grasp all the things field workers go through. My mom is a very resilient, indigenous Mixtec woman. I would see her leave for work in rain or shine, day or night, during an intense heat advisory, or while pregnant during a global pandemic. Many field workers, like her, continue to work to feed a country that does not recognize the hardships of being a field worker. While many people continue to eat fruits and vegetables and salads, desserts, and other dishes, field workers continue to face food insecurity, sexual harassment, housing insecurity, discrimination, anti-indigeneity, and alcohol and substance abuse. With every obstacle we face, I will always be immensely proud of the community of resilient, indigenous field workers that raised and taught me Mixtec values. I saw my mom go to work every day and slowly go up the ranks, and seeing how far she's come is incredibly indescribable. I am so proud of her, along with one of her co-workers who run the only woman-led sector where they oversee and lead their crew. Every day, I know the great amount of work she and her co-workers do day in and day out. The next time you see strawberries beautifully packaged, a field worker went through a lot of labor to package it, and someone like my mom oversaw the placement. When I see strawberries, I see my community and myself. So, those strawberries are mine.
What is community? According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the word community is often described as a group of people with common characteristic or interests living together within a larger society. Growing up, I was always searching for my people, a community that has the same interests as me. Luckily enough, I found that and more. A community that pushes each other to be their best and to just be themselves. I had a pleasure of interviewing two of the legends in the San Jose community. They help curate a space for people like us to be themselves and to just have fun. You know what? I'm gonna let them talk.
My name is Alex Estrada, aka That Fool Al. Yeah, I'm from San Jose. I'm born and raised. I've lived all over. I spent my childhood mostly on the west side, but I've lived downtown now for almost like 10 years. So I'm pretty much associated with like the downtown, kind of north side Japantown communities, mostly. Yeah. When I hear that word community, it brings up a lot of stuff. I think of intergenerational, like young and old people together and cross-cultural. You gotta go to the places that you love. Like if you love cooking, go to a cooking class and you'll meet people there that are into the same thing that you're into. If you love gardening, go check out a community garden or a community space that has those things that you want to attract into your life, and then in those spaces you are likely to find your people, the people that are attracted to the same things as you and the people that are going to be easy to communicate and build with. Created the Culture Night Market literally as a direct response to the pandemic. Group economics is like the model that we try to build off of. It's like we all like make our money and spend our money together and vote with our dollar. CultureNightMarket.org is the website where artists and vendors can go to apply to be at these events. Night Market, in 3 years, I feel like we will probably be expanded into other cities.
Wow. Thank you, Alex, for that. Now, let's hear it from the next legend.
Well, hello there. My name is Miguel Ozuna. I am 29 years old. I actually have been living in San Jose since I was 6 years old. I have lived in the South Side, Ariesa. I've lived just about everywhere in San Jose. Learning and conceptualizing what community is and what that means happened here in San Jose. And when I think of what community is, I think it's a place where you live, where you call home, where you coexist with other people. For me, a safe place is anywhere you can walk in, sit down, and not have to worry about who walked in behind you. A safe place is where you don't have to walk in with barriers, feeling like you're being judged the moment you walk in. You can really be yourself. Importance of safe places is that you have one place, maybe it's the only place in the world. Maybe you don't even feel comfortable where you're sleeping. But no matter where you are in the world, if you go there, you're good. SJ Shooters is an account that specializes in uplifting the photography, videography, any sort of creative work being done in San Jose. I started with the intent of really being able to uplift all aspects of what makes San Jose beautiful. What SJ Shooters is today, for me, has turned into so much more than just showing photos that people are taking. I try my best to utilize SJ Shooters as a platform to uplift what's happening in the community. We get one film camera, we load it with film, and we have people do it all over. Came up with the concept, a look through your lens, because as you're looking through your lens, you're seeing things that nobody else is seeing. But what happens when we put all that in the same space? We just recently highlighted the 25th person, I think, or 24th. We are all SJ Shooters. At the end of the day, if you're taking photos and you tag SJ Shooters, I do my best to highlight it. Within the next 3 years, my goal is to be able to really establish SJ Shooters as a community-driven project that has a home base, hopefully, where people can come together. If you've ever wanted to take photos, just take them. If you can take one photo of someone you love every day, you're gonna have a collection. And trust me, you'll appreciate that one day.
So a lot of people thought, well, I'm gonna wait for the market. I'm gonna wait for the houses to go down because the market's gonna crash. And that's what you heard everywhere. The market's gonna crash. Not in the Bay Area. This is where everybody wants to live, right? And there's a lot of money around here. So when COVID got announced, to my regulations around February, March 2020, right? So everything did kind of stop.
It's like you're driving a car and someone just pulls the emergency brake, right, when you're driving. And everything just came to like a screeching halt, right? It was really, there was that shock, an initial shock of what's happening, what's going on, is it real, is it not real? So it was, many emotions.
We were forced to be at home. We were shut down as far as our showings. We were adjusted. Some people unfortunately lost their jobs, so they were forced out of the market. And then we had the all-time low of the interest rates.
As soon as people got some type of security that their job wasn't going anywhere and that the money was still gonna be coming in, that's when they jumped in, because that's when the interest rates dropped. It's like 2-3%. Everybody went crazy. Everybody thought, oh man, I can afford way more, right? And they couldn't. So you had all these people that were able to afford the payment. So how is one person going to outdo the next? He's got to bump up his price. So what was happening is you have $1 million property. By the time the winning offer went in, it was $1.2 million. When the appraisal went out, they were coming back and saying it's only worth $1.1 million. So to the lender, they don't care what you're buying it for. They want to know how much it's worth. So if it's worth 1.1 and you're buying for 1.2, you have to supplement that difference with cash.
A lot of the times, we're competing with about 40 different families for one house. And a lot of families were submitting way above, right? There's, just depending on the neighborhood, and this is what was going on during the pandemic. When the interest rates were very low, when the inventory was very low, we had maybe, for the most part, I want to say about a month and a half worth of inventory. Basically what that means is if no more homes go on the market after today, in a month and a half, we don't have homes to sell. Now, if a house is only worth about, let's just say a house is worth $1 million, and you're offering $1.6 million, and you win that offer, and your offer comes in non-contingent, that means that if the house gets appraised at $1 million, you need to come out of pocket the difference, $600,000. And if you can't, then you're pretty much gonna lose your earnest money deposit. But this is what buyers had to do in order to get a house in this crazy competitive market. I remember that there was this form that a lot of the home buyers had to fill out. For every address that we went to go look at, they had to sign a form saying they're aware of COVID, the risks they're taking and things like that. Home prices were skyrocketing so much that the values couldn't even keep up, right? If today your house was worth $1 million, after so many homes in your neighborhood sold tomorrow, a few days after that, your house is probably worth like 1.2, and another month it's 1.3, and another month it's 1.4, and another month it's 1.5, and so on and so forth, right? And that's just how it was, because people were just going super crazy trying to outbid each other because they were taking advantage of the low interest rates, and they had a lot of purchase power, and they had a lot of money on the side because stocks were soaring. So they were cashing out their stocks and they were just pumping that money into the house. Sellers took advantage of this market and they just went all out. They said, sell my house for X amount. The agent said no problem, and the house sold for more than that, right?
Only reason why rates were that low was because of COVID. The government was trying to stimulate the market and trying to give an opportunity for the rest of the people to save money. This is why the market didn't crash, because all of those loans were good loans, right? People didn't lose their jobs, right? They might have been laid off for a little bit, but then the lender did these forbearance plans, put them in a position where they didn't have to make a payment. And then once the job, once they went back to work, they just went right back onto making that same payment. It's not like they had one of those bad loans that readjusted, right? So that's why the market didn't drop, because people could still afford their mortgages, right? So a lot of people thought, well,
Homeless Alliance. They want 10 to 15 parking spots near the campus police department so they can sleep overnight safely.
Student homeless crisis. Many of them are looking to the garage as a place to pull in for the night.
The parking spaces will give people a safe place to sleep.
CSU, shame on you!
Leading the group was sociology student Celine Chandler, who is housed now but spent much of last year homeless.
I slept outside, I slept at bus stops, I slept here on campus on benches.
Chandler is one of 3 students who will meet with University President Mary Papazian.
So we have to use the restroom.
They're not going to meet our demands. Before we speak, they're completely against it. They don't want to give the students a place to park their car. They said it'll cost too much. There's many times I've told my story, and I would say a 5 to 10 second clip of it was used. So I never really get to tell the whole story. I'm a former foster youth, so I was in the system of care for foster youth in California since age 15. And I graduated high school, went straight to San Jose State. I was from a small town, Merced, not many resources. And I came here on a Greyhound, moved into the dorms, and I thought I'd be stably housed, and my foster care was supposed to pay for college and housing. A lot of those resources did not come through, and my first time I was homeless was in between semesters in the winter break of 2011 to 2012, and I slept outside. I got pneumonia. There weren't many resources that I knew about. I was new to the city, the county. It was really difficult navigating this system of care. There are some resources out there, but they're very limited. They're very restricted. So I ended up back on the street. Monday through Friday, I had a meal plan, but on the weekends, it didn't cover the weekends. So I was sort of hungry on the weekends. And didn't have any support from the school at the time, and ended up homeless again when the semester was over. So June 1st of 2012, I was back homeless, and that was the beginning of about a 3-year time period where I was homeless, unstably housed, couch surfing, staying with friends, other students, elders in the church. I lived in a youth shelter downtown. Unfortunately, it was a 90-day stay, and they kicked me out after 60 days because I was working 3 jobs and couldn't
get back by curfew or participate in the program. My mom gave me her car, so I ended up sleeping in the car. Even after it broke down, it was still served as a shelter. I took showers in the dorm room, on campus, and during the summer when school was out, I just had a gym membership, and I'd pay monthly and have access to their showers. I made it look good though. If you were my friend and I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know. My professors didn't know, and I sort of hid it. I was ashamed, and so I would say by 2015, after about 3 years of unstable housing, I got a phone call. And I remember I was sitting at the library, which is my main hangout spot. I'd crashed there a lot too, until the security kicked me out. But I got a phone call at the library, MLK Library downtown, and they said that my name came up for a housing voucher. And a social worker assured me that I'd get my own apartment within the next couple months. And she followed through with that promise. That gave me the safety and security to continue in my fight to end homelessness. But there is a larger homeless issue. We have one of the largest tent cities in America. At Destination Homes Lead, our motto is nothing about us without us. The Lived Experience Advisory Board focuses on creating a platform for people like myself to engage in the system of care. We give feedback to nonprofits that are service providers. We give input with the city of San Jose and housing developments that target the homeless. We evaluate programs like outreach programs and shelters. We interview staff, we interview clients, we collect the data, and we come up with recommendations based on the lived experience perspective. Again, our motto is nothing about us without us. I encourage all service providers, government agencies, housing developers, nonprofits, researchers, policymakers, decision makers, stakeholders to include the voices of people with lived experience. My experience has been that most people who are even currently unhoused want to give back or currently do give back to the community in some type of way. Every board should have someone with lived experience. I will say, let's open the door for people with lived experience. Let's give them opportunities and real leadership development so that they can spearhead the movement to end homelessness.
Not speaking English and see all these people up there having a good time and dancing. Do you want to be part of that?
And I moved in 1985 to San Jose, California, and that's how Spacewalker.
You became Spacewalker after you came to San Jose?
Yes. If I wasn't from San Jose, I wouldn't be Spacewalker. Okay. I'd be Jose from Mexico.
Oh, I'm from Mexicali, Baja California North, close to the street from USA. I born over there. I grew up over there. I come over here when I was probably 19.
38 years old. Mexicali, California, from the south to the north.
I used to go to the nightclubs. I didn't speak English, so I used to go to the nightclubs and see all these great dancers up there performing and dancing, and I got a passion watching them dance, and I started learning dancing. And that's how I become a spacewalker. They give me the name because the way I dance.
Oh, I guess that's why they call him a spacewalker. Oh, that was nice. Oh, can you move your body like that? Híjole.
So I used to go to the nightclubs right here in downtown San Jose, which is D.B. Cooper's, Oasis, Studio 47, Cactus Club, and those nightclubs, like they're like very popular. And I used to go over there and, like just standing up and trying to talk to the girls, but I couldn't because my English was very poor. And I really like, the people. They accept me, even my English it was very poor. And with the time passed by, I started getting the feeling like, oh, this is my house, this is home, San Jose. And the feeling is I grew up inside because I wasn't over there anymore. I was here and being recognized, for my work at the community centers, and a lot of people they like me and love me. So I was feeling like San Jose is my town, like I'm from here. Well, what inspired me to go and teach the kids, it was like it helped me to keep the kids out of the street and make them dance. And that way they won't be able to do bad things outside and focus on dancing. And I used to make groups of kids dancing and take it to the dance competitions, and they love it. So for me, it was like I was doing my job to the community to try to keep these kids out of the streets because their parents probably they work all day, they don't have time for them. Try to teach the kids, teaching the kids how to dance and keep them busy. And it's fun. Yeah. And it's a great satisfaction. Those kids, they become good and they go to the high school, and dance up there and perform, and they invite me to go and look at it, watch them and everything. So it's beautiful. What makes dancing important is, for me, from the bottom of my heart, is the enjoy that you have when you're doing it, and the enjoy the people watching you too, and they really like it. I think that's the most important thing, because if you're not enjoying it and you're dancing, you transmit that to the people, and people's like, they feel it because it's sentimental. Dancing is something that comes from the bottom of the people's heart. Sometimes we dance when we're angry, which is not wrong, because we let all the angry out by dancing. Then you calm down, become more happy. Sometimes you dance because you enjoy it. So it depends, it's individual of each people.
If we set out to create the educational experiences with the goal of preventing students from obtaining the knowledge that they need for career mobility and fulfillment, we would be creating the modern school system. Before youth start school, just think about how quickly they can learn things. This begs the question, what happens in school? Or what doesn't happen inside these classroom experiences? To become a better teacher, studying how learning works has helped me in this journey. Before you think, I'm not a teacher, I am no interested in being a teacher, I would like to contend the fact that as long as you help people discover, understand, or remember something, you are in fact a teacher. Now, to begin this conversation, why don't we take a look at a definition of learning that might be helpful. So, I know this is a lot of text, but we'll skim through it. Let's define learning as a growth process that happens inside your brain and leads to changes in your life. Your brain is in a constant state of growth and change. When you dedicate more effort and struggle to master a specific skill, your brain grows more and learn more. Learning involves changes in your knowledge, beliefs, behaviors, and attitudes. Learning is not something others can do for or to you. Rather, it's something that you have to do for yourself. Learning occurs as a direct result of strategies you use to learn, as well as how you interpret and respond to your experiences. One learning principle is what you believe about your own intelligence, your potential, and your abilities is super important. Not many students learn very much in traditional classes and school experiences because there's an overemphasis on content. Specifically, if we take a look at this learning needs hierarchy created by my community college professor, Jeff Anderson, so much of my experiences in many of my classes, in particular college classes, there is an overemphasis on this part, the what tier. But what happens here is if we leave building relationships up to chance, if we leave other higher order tiers left to chance, what ends up happening is sometimes it doesn't actually happen. Sometimes these are not answered and not uncovered for students, so that could be problematic for many reasons. So you might be thinking to yourself, okay, what does that hierarchy really mean? If we look in traditional lecture-based knowledge classes, what does a lecture do, right? It helps students move from that they don't know to now they know that they don't know, assuming they've never seen the information or the content before. But a much higher order learning task is actually this next stage, as we can imagine, where we engage in sense making, get active in constructing the knowledge for ourselves. But so often this is not under the purview of the teacher and the peers, meaning it is done in isolation unless you form your own study groups, etc., etc. But next, I'd like to show a taxonomy of learning by an author named Fink, and which also supports the idea where when we overemphasize, say, this tier in classroom experiences, students miss out on these other tiers. So my plea to educators who are responsible for designing learning experiences for other people is to consider or reimagine how you use the time that you have with your students. All of us would like to be heard, seen, valued, respected, and cared for. And this is my invitation to have conversations around belief and hope, motivations and goals, and how learning works, all before content. And even if you're not formally a teacher or in a teaching role, anytime you're around anyone, you have an opportunity to tap into some of these other tiers. In the knowledge economy and the current day and age, continuous learning is required if we want to develop and build the life that we would like. If you are an educator, if you are a manager or a leader who are responsible for designing learning and responsible for designing engagement, I implore you to consider this hierarchy and find ways to address these other tiers and address these other categories, and not leave that up to chance. If we address these higher order needs first, The rest of the stuff is light work. People get better at making decisions when they have opportunities to make decisions, which is not the same as following directions. Thank you, Constance, for the one-on-one times. Thank you, Frankie, for extending me so much grace. Thanks, Gurprashad, for really basking in your authenticity and humor. Thank you, Malcolm, for being kind to me during the interviews. And thank you for all my peers for inspiring me to become a better storyteller.
Being an African dancer in the South Bay, collaborating with so many community leaders, artists, and activists has encouraged me to continue to build our community, get people in touch with their roots and their history.
Meeting with our people, serving our community, providing and really building this African-centered skills, knowledge base from our center, our lens, how we see wellness, how we see health, what we need to flourish.
It only takes one dance, a little girl to watch to understand or feel that spark.
What really motivates me is, I guess, that freedom, that high I'm always chasing.
We are social beings, we want to connect.
Why we exist, our purpose and everything, I find in that. I find joy in that. It's really who I am. So I'm driven and inspired by, I have a creative outlet to really share that will bring people together for discussion and celebration, and that we're telling stories we want to tell, and it's not just for show. We aren't entertainment.
Culture is anything that brings people together. It could be an idea, it could be a movement, it could be breathing, it could be, a cause, it could be music.
Culture, being able to tell who we are, embracing all of our history and all the changes is really what culture is to me, the celebration of that and the exploration of that.
The understanding of your historical and ancestral background, and you're trying to live that truth.
Culture is a group of people who's developed a way of being together, seeing the world, relationships, family, their relationship to the earth, the universe, and how they basically order reality. It's their history, their story.
Culture means it's the expression of a person's group, of most of the time their ethnic group, and how they were raised, defined in things like the food that we cook, the music that we listen to, the way we dance, the way we express our emotions, and also the way that we speak, the language that we speak, or the dialect.
Cultural terms that we learn through rhythm and movement, and dance is just another way to do that.
Culture is happening. It's a living, breathing thing.
Like, that's my drug of choice. It's definitely drumming and making beats, producing.
To be an artist is to be an activist.
There's always the education, the enlightenment, the empowerment that we're bringing to the art, the performance art, that to be an SJ Mag presenter.
Creating a Coma Arts, my purpose and my legacy is to wake the African American children up to.
You can be whoever you want to be and then create the stage that you want to be on.
Creating more leaders, more soldiers out there doing the work.
Has it been much to kind of bring all the different communities and different groups together And that's what Mosaic America tries, is wanting to do.
This is my purpose.
Let the community, the African American community in San Jose, understand that, one of their own members or their own citizens were also realizing their own African history and culture.
That we're all, we have much more in common than is first visible.
I'm of the impression that all Africans in the United States have some gift to share.
Feel like we belong to a specific group and feel safe and feel a sense of belonging and a sense of community.
This was to free up people to understand who they were. So I was trying really to free people and give them an opportunity to express themselves.
You always have to be open, to evolving and accepting things that come as they are. So
if there's like 7 different things that you like to do, and somebody's telling you need to focus on that one thing, don't listen to it. If you want to do all 7 of those things, do all 7 of those things. And 2 of those things you're probably going to master. But if they make you feel good, you'll probably live forever.
If you could describe Thick Teas in 1 to 3 words, what would it be?
I would describe Thick Teas in 3 words as liberating, so much fun, and badass.
Inspiring, sexy,
Heated, necessary, fabulous.
I have 1 word and it's fat.
Thick Teas is a collective of fat strippers based in the Bay Area. Thick Teas was founded by and consists of queer and POC performers.
So my name is Lazie, L-A-Z-I-E, and I live in Oakland, and I'm a parent, and I identify as a sex worker, and Thick Teas was something for me that came out of my history as a former stripper, and knowing that after I had my child that my body was different and I couldn't go back to the strip club that I had worked in for a long time, and I had friends there and I knew the managers and they were just like, love you, but you're not skinny anymore. One of my friends who's a current Thick Teas dancer was experiencing the same thing, auditioning at clubs and sort of just getting kind of laughed out of the room. And so that experience plus my own experience made me feel like I know that there is a space for us. I know that there are people that will pay to watch big people dance, fat people dance. And then Thick Teas was born. And I introduced myself to the community at large and said, my name's Lazie, and this is Thick Teas, and this is my vision. And people were just on board with it. And it kind of became its own thing. It took off with a life of its own. So we're made up of dancers, and we have go-go dancers and then our principal performers. Our principal performers, we have 10 dancers, and we perform at Oasis in San Francisco as our home, and it's a LGBTQ cabaret club.
One of the core values of Thick Teas is fat liberation. Fat liberation is the deliberate work of tearing down systems that have created a world where fat people are denied full participation in society.
Fat liberation being kind of the crux of what we do sets us apart from other groups that are doing kind of similar things. I've seen a lot of dance groups pop up where they're oh, we're body positive. But to me, that doesn't go far enough. When people go to a Thick Teas event, I want them to be damn, I see myself up there.
So I'm at Thick Teas. I am a plus size person myself, and it's really nice seeing my own body image in front of a stage and seeing people shake their ass and people throwing money. It's such there's so much potential there, it's I could do that too, I could shake my ass too. It's empowering, that's what it is. So
our dancers, like I said, identify as fat and are proud to be fat. We have fun, we eat good, we do not shrink ourselves. We have dancers of so many different body types too. We're all fat, but we show fatness in a spectrum. So no one is afraid to be I'm fat. And I'm the founder of Thick Teas. I say I'm fat. Like, that's not something that makes me embarrassed at all. That's what like really sets us apart from other groups, and that's what really like makes people associate us with fat liberation. And it's all about just like feeling good in your body and having fun and knowing that you don't need to diet or restrict at all, restrict either food or clothing or whatever, to be sexy and have a good time and find community with people.
For over 30 generations, the Vietnamese community celebrated Tết Trung Thu, also known as the Autumn Moon Festival, to pray for rewarding harvest, good weather, and peace. The harvest is connected with the moon cycle, making this annual commemorative event occur when the moon illuminates at its fullest. San Jose holds the largest Vietnamese and Vietnamese American population in the United States. A home away from home, the community celebrates the festival this year on September 10th, 2002. It is a time for family reunions, a delightful feast, and of course, the floating lanterns. Lantern making is one of the most popular activities of this festive holiday. In ancient times, lanterns were made to light up the neighborhood streets and guide people to prosperity and good fortune. There is an inviting warmth that the lanterns continue to bring to families today. Coming in all shapes and sizes, they contain people's wishes and riddles. This holiday is often celebrated with children, though in communities like these, there is a significance in remembering your roots. In the past 2 years, the Bay Area has suffered a lot through the pandemic due to the heightened xenophobia, violence against Asian and Pacific Islander descendants, and deserted businesses. As 2002 is making a comeback with more people participating in events like these, the city rewards its guests for their resilience in its culture, music, and the arts. This is a special event where families feel safe celebrating their cultural heritage. For members of the Vietnamese diaspora, celebrations have also extended to people outside of the Vietnamese community. Autumn moon festivals and other holidays are steeped in rich traditions. Even after moving to the United States, many Vietnamese families find it important to instill these traditions to their children to ensure that their cultural roots are remembered. In a way, connecting with other families of the same culture allowed an extension of the support they needed to rewind and reignite their way of life.
The Moon Festival means to me in a way that it is for families to make memories together, to commemorate how far we have come.
Wow! With don't stop clapping, don't stop clapping. Woo! Congratulations, you guys. Those films, that was beautiful. That was amazing. Round of applause for yourselves. Yes. Speaking of which, I want all y'all to come up here now. All the filmmakers, please stand. Please rise. Yeah, round of applause. Let's go. Let's go. Alrighty, y'all. Are you ready for your first Q&A as a filmmaker? Yeah, let's do it. Let me have y'all line up right here. Celine, I have a stool for you. Okay, so we're going to start with question number 1, which is a pretty easy, pretty broad question. Anyone can answer. So if you feel called upon, if not, I know we are okay with awkward silences during class. Not today. I will call on one of y'all if there's longer than a 5-second awkward silence. Okay, question number 1. What was the most exciting part about the DocuMentorMe program? You can raise your hand, I'll bring the mic to you. Yeah, woo!
For me, it's just learning how to make a film, because this is my very first film, I think for everyone here, and just learning how to make it from start to finish and seeing how everything went about that's my answer.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Anybody else? I'll restate the question. What was the most exciting part of the DocuMentorMe program?
Probably the most exciting part for me was getting to actually create a piece of work that would get to, I guess, show people potentially for, generations and years to come, who Spacewalker is and, things that he did in the community.
Thank you, Xavier. Anyone else?
I think it was beautiful learning how to highlight the talent that's in the community and share it with the world.
That is indeed impressive. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go into some specific questions in random order. Kia Bet, you're first. Okay. Your question for you is, what was it like to film in the fields?
Voy a llorar. Fuck. I'm gonna start crying.
Take your time.
Of course, you guys would ask me this one. It was very much an experience that was... it was the very first time, because my mom and my parents were very like, you will never go to the fields, because it was like this thing where it was just like, we don't want you to be like us. And for them it was like, no vamos a ser como los otros. We're not going to be like other parents where they take their kids to the fields and make them work and stuff like that. They were very like, tú no vas a hacer eso, we're never taking you there. So for me, it was only like once where I went to my mom's work, and the other times I would go, it was like para que agarre su cheque, so she could get her check, and then I would just kind of see it. So it wasn't like that. So it was my very first time like actually like being there. Like, well, she would wake me up at 5 a.m. too, because she's my madrina, my mom's sister, would always my godmother. She was the one that would take us to school and things like that. So she was I never actually spent like a full day with her. It wasn't like, take your daughter to work there, everything like that, because like, who's gonna take their kids to the fields, like that kind of way, so it was a very like emotional, like, in a sense where it was just like I felt closer to my mom to know what she was doing, because like now she's not like so much as a picker, she's more of like a chequeadora, which like she checks the packages to make sure they're good. There's no green strawberry, so when it's packaged nicely, that was probably someone like my mom who did it. So it was very interesting to see, and like all her coworkers and like being there being like, what are you doing? Like, what are you filming? And it's just like, I thought my mom told you already. Like, I was gonna film. So it was like really nice to see them and like being companion, especially when I was eating, because like, pretty sure I told them there was 2 rules my mom told me. She was like, you cannot film someone like directly, because she was just like, just because her boss like let me doesn't mean that you can just film them, and like not to film them when they were like eating or during their breaks. So I was like, okay, that's 2 rules, that's fine, everything. So it was like also very like good too when I was just like sitting with everyone and eating, and they were just like, well, what are you doing? What are you filming? Like, what do you do for school? And I'm just like, read a television film, like, and all that. And it's just like, yeah. So it was a very like rewarding sense and emotional things where I felt closer to her and then everyone else in the community, where it's like, I knew of them, but then I'm like, oh, I finally know who you are. Like Angeles, like everyone else is just like, oh, it's cool. So that's what it was.
Thank you so much, Kia. But that was a beautiful story. Next question is for E. What made you want to highlight these specific community members?
First thing, is it okay if I take a photo of you guys? Because like I said, this is my first documentary. I want to keep it as a memory. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, cheese.
Thank you, guys. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine, E. The question is, what made you want to highlight these specific community members?
Yes. The reason why I wanted to highlight Culture Night Market and SG Shooter. So I'm starting out as a photographer, and when I was doing that, I would always go to Culture Night Market and take photos to build up my portfolio. And I saw what they were doing for the community and for creatives. They're giving them space to showcase their art and to also sell them, because as a local artist, there's not much spaces where you can do that, and they're the ones who help the artists and give them curated space for them. And for SG Shooters, it's the first sub-community that I found who really appreciated my art, and through that it provided me a space to showcase what I can do, and they also build up my confidence when it comes to photography. So, and I also want to show them to other people who are not aware of them, maybe pretty much pave the way, and maybe they can use them the way that I did, where they can go to an event if they want to take photos and build up their own portfolio, or reach out to SG Shooters if they want to either work with them or just have a point contact where they can just show what they can do. So as a local artist, they're just the two sub-communities that I really enjoy being around with when it comes to creating. So yes.
Thank you so much, E. That was such a great response. And you know what? Remind me to show me those photos afterwards, because I was thinking about it, and I mean, I'm pretty sure they're just blown out because like the lights are shining on us. But you know, we can all get a group picture later with like better lighting in the other room for you, E.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, Mauricio. What was your favorite oh, sorry. You got the mic? Are you good?
Yeah? Good.
Okay. Mauricio, what is your favorite part of the filmmaking process?
So my favorite part was definitely editing. I heard a lot of people saying editing was probably the hardest, the worst. To me, it was fun because, as everyone knows, I had about an hour and a half of footage that I had to shrink down to about 5 minutes, right? When we did our first draft, I think Ty and I were like the longest. She was at 10 minutes. I was at 15. And they're like, you got to go down to 5. I'm like, how much more can I cut down, right? So to me, it was just creating the flow. And I was the first one to watch my final product. So I was happy about that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you know what? Like, I'm glad, like, you guys are gonna, you know, a lot of you guys, it's your first film, right? Constraints are usually sometimes you'll find your art is thriving within constraints rather than when you didn't have those constraints. And like, if you guys have director's cuts, I know like some of y'all mentioned like you want it to be a little longer, go for it. Don't stop editing. Don't stop creating. What's next for this project, you know? I want to ask a broad question before I get into specific questions again for everybody, for anybody. Not y'all, only the filmmakers. So question number 2, which is broad. What was the biggest challenge you faced in creating your documentary during the DocuMentorMe program? Yes, who has the mic? There you go.
My biggest challenge was that about halfway through the semester, I was scheduled for knee surgery, ACL repair. So the number of people that I was going to interview, which was about 2, dwindled down to none. And then I was left with myself. And I never had really considered telling my story. I'm glad I did. I heard some snuffles in the room. And I think that the work that I do is really important. So I was like, okay, I'll highlight my story. But that was a challenge, sharing personally and turning it into an autobiography sort of feature. But it was a suggestion, and it was also like the CreaTV team was behind me. They're like, yeah, do that. That's awesome. Work with what you got. I'm like, all right. Because I was trying to go out into the encampments. That wasn't going to happen on crutches. Anyone else?
The hardest, that's loud. The hardest part of the documentary making process for me was definitely the fact that, like, in my head, I had these like really grand visions of this giant production that I was going to put together. It's the first film I've ever made, though, and I have 15 weeks with the technology that we were given. And so I think the biggest challenge for me was getting over the like, I need it to look like Martin Scorsese put this thing on. And I really kind of, I think the cool part about the challenge of wanting it to be grand and perfect is that you push yourself to make it grand and perfect. And so even when it isn't, it still felt like even if it was the worst thing I'd ever done, like I did it and I had, the balls, so to speak, to make it and to put it out into the universe. And that anything that I make past that point is going to just be a growth off of what I created originally. So the cool part about having this be like you're the very first thing you ever do is that it's the very first thing you ever do, which means that there's only up to go from here. There's only like more cool shit to make. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else want to answer this broad question, or we can go into no? Okay, so Celine, we're going back to you. So you talked a little bit about how ideally it would have been like 2 people exploring the camps and whatnot. So as I was saying, like, I don't want y'all's filmmaking journeys, even with these projects, to end here. What does the future of your documentary look like?
So there are a couple people that had already agreed to do the interview. So I would love to go back and link up with them. They're people with lived experience of being homeless in San Jose. Get at least some B-roll of the encampments, because a lot of folks don't know what it looks like beyond the street view. But when you go deep down under, I mean, there's a whole community living in Guadalupe area and also the Tully Coyote Creek area. So I want to highlight what homelessness really looks like behind the scenes.
I think that's really important, and we can't wait to see it, right, guys? Woo-hoo! Yeah. Alrighty, Xavier. All right, Xavier, what is something brand new that you discovered in the documentary program?
Could you, like,
could be anything, could be about yourself, about filmmaking, about your uncle.
I learned how to do keyframes, which is pretty useful. I mean, it sounds like, I don't know, for me, that was like the highlight of the whole like editing process and learning how to do stuff. It was the very last scene where it zooms in and zooms out. I thought it was cool. I tried to do keyframes before and it didn't work out. I just got very frustrated, but this time it went well, so I was happy about that. All right, and that's it.
Thank you so much. We're glad you know how to keyframe now. It honestly, It changes your life as an editor. You're like, whoa, I can animate things. Okay, so we're going to go on to Henry. Yes, Henry. Okay, Henry, your film was very, very intellectual. I feel like I learned so much in a short span. So my question for you is a little bit harder, but I trust you can do it. In your opinion, how important is video/filmmaking in the realm of education? I apologize for the very hard question.
I'll get
Thesis.
Yeah, there's literally books on this topic. If you think about the evolution of the smartphone and YouTube, that's maybe like mid-2000s, 2008 maybe. And I think to begin this, I think students deserve better, right, inside classrooms. And I've been studying the problem in community college teaching is how do we actually inspire students to solve the problems that exist in their lives and the problems that they would like to solve for their future career. And I think video has the potential to kind of outsource a lot of the lectures and a lot of the content. And to be honest, like so much of the content can be more entertaining and more inspiring, right? If you go out on the street and you ask 10 people what their experiences with math classes are, like 9 out of 10 would say like, I hate math. And that's by design. That's not by accident. Wow. So I think if we can outsource lectures, if we can outsource the least difficult part of learning to video, I think we could do a lot more fun things during class.
Thank you. And thank you. Yes. You know, I am one of those 9 people, so it's not my fault. Thank you. I don't suck at math.
Yeah, like
everyone else does.
What would you say? Like, would Steph Curry be Steph Curry if he was fined $1,000 for every single time he missed a shot? No, right? But if you think about grades, that does exactly that. I mean, grades do a lot more than that. They spoil peer-to-peer relationships. They spoil student-to-teacher relationships. They encourage cheating. Like, there's all these systemic things that get in the way of the whole mission of education. And I think, yeah.
Clap it up. Thank you so much, Henry. All right, we are going to move on to Tai. Little similar to Henry's question. We'll wait for the mic to travel. Awesome. How does documentary filmmaking, in your opinion, elevate the art of dance?
Oh.
Ooh, thesis, let's go.
Well, I really enjoyed the editing part, as Mauricio mentioned. So now it's kind of like elevating, you know, how do I want to highlight either me or other people dancing? You know, now I know how to do B-roll, as Celine mentioned, and, you know, incorporating, you know, background music or use the music that's already there. Angles. We learned a lot about shots and how to shoot, you know, what looks nice, what's good on what looks good from the viewer's point of view. Because like for us, it's like, oh, like that's dope, you know, I love this or whatever. But it's like, okay, how is somebody else seeing the information? How are they taking it in? You know, what do they need to see to grab them? Or now I'm thinking more like a filmmaker, like, okay, what is my purpose behind what I'm showing? So to answer the question, it's looking pretty up from here for the dance world. So thank you.
Thank you, Ty. Thank you. Alrighty, let's move on to Alyssa. Yes.
Hello.
Okay. Hello. I love your pink jacket.
Thank you. I got it today for this event.
We love to see it. Okay. Alyssa, how has your experience with this film changed within the 12 weeks?
Ooh, that's wow. It's changed a lot. So Thick Tees is a collective of fat strippers based in the Bay Area, as you found out from my documentary. And they started back in like early 2021. And I had started following them from there. And I had gotten involved with the dancers from the program and got to know a little bit more about them and their stories. And when I, learned about this program, the immediate first thought I had was, I want to tell that story. That's like an incredible story that I think that oftentimes when stories of sex workers get told, they're not really told from the perspective of sex workers and like the joy that comes from that work. A lot of the times it's more from the perspective of like, a dead sex worker that you see on a crime show. You know what I mean? And that's not really a very accurate representation of the joy a lot of people who engage in sex work find in that work. And so the beginning process, I was just immediately excited. I was just like, we're going to make this documentary. I originally pitched the documentary to the collective of strippers, and they were really on board with it. And so I began the process of pre-production, and through the process of pre-production, I found that nailing down strippers, like to commit to like a time frame of like everyone being in the same room was like not the vibe. Like everyone like had like their own schedules, everyone was like doing their own thing, everyone needed to figure out like what their timeline was for them, and so it was really hard to nail down anyone for like actual shoot dates. And then I ended up attending one of the events that most of the B-roll footage is from, and I got a lot of that footage. And this week actually, after editing everything, coming up with the final product that we have here, this week unfortunately I found out that Thick Tease is not going to be performing any shows anymore. At least the iteration of it that I know and love and documented. So I think, honestly, I'm glad that I was able to create this documentary about Thick Tease, because it's a very needed space within the world of, like, you know, nightlife and night entertainment. And so I was really glad that I was able to get this. And it also stressed me out because I was like, oh my goodness, like this is the only time that this story is going to be told, since it happened in this, you know, very short period of time. And so the dancers of Thick Tease and the people who are in the documentary are going to continue to hopefully create events that are very similar to what was captured in this documentary. But Thick Tease, as it is, the way that I presented it, is no longer a thing as of this week. So I was really proud of myself that I was able to capture this, and also really almost stressed almost about the fact that like this is it, like this is how people are going to see it, and that's it, you know. So yeah,
I think it's very powerful that you were able to capture it, you know, like in a way it's like catching a shiny Pokemon. Like you're not gonna you know what
exactly.
I mean? Like it was,
and it's a very shiny Pokemon. Thick Tease, yeah. Very shiny.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Alyssa. Our last question, last but certainly not least, is my Slytherin sister. On let's wait for the mic to. Alrighty, on. How does filmmaking empower you?
A lot of stuff. I think it empowers me a lot because ever since I was little, I grew up writing letters to people around the world. And through this experience, as I went through the Autumn Moon Festival, I came to learn that even though this is a community that was made by Vietnamese and Vietnamese Americans for Vietnamese and Vietnamese Americans, in this documentary experience, I was also able to bring my friends and family to attend these events while I record this documentary. So I hope that as we saw Light the Way and many other documentaries to come about these cultural events, that we don't deter from these cultures that are different from us, because in the end, I always hear like Vietnamese culture has close families, Mexican cultures have close families, and so forth. At the end of the day, there's a way that we can connect with everyone, and that's what I find empowering about this documentary experience.
That was beautiful. So we have 10 minutes, and at this time I want to open it up to the audience. So if any of y'all have any questions about our film, for our filmmakers, specifically, broadly, please speak up. Do we have any hands? Do we have any yes? No? Yes? Yeah, it's just really dark. Beautiful. Thank you, Henry, for being my mic runner. Please tell us your name, and that's it. Tell us your name and who you're here to support. How about that?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Samani. I'm here to support Ty, but I'm born and raised in San Jose, and I'm heavily involved in giving back to the community, so I guess I'm here to support all of y'all. But my question is for Ty specifically. Ty, what made you decide to get into dance, and how does that inspire who you are?
So the question is, I'm just going to reiterate the question so we know. Oh, thanks. Now I have two. So the question is, what made you want to get into the form of dance as an art?
That's a good question. And hey, girl, thank you for coming. I've always been a dancer my whole life. I started with praise dancing. I did hip hop. But I actually came across Joelle's father, Keith Hames. He was a founder of a group called Acoma Arts. And, I came across him in the community just volunteering and attended one of his events. And, he invited me to come to a practice. And I'm like, I've never really tried African dancing. And I went to one practice, and that was just kind of it. The drums, the rhythms, it just kind of like speaks to my soul, and it just makes me so happy. It brings me so much joy, bringing joy to others. That's just like my mission in life. I just want to bring joy to others around the world, and I plan to, whether it's local, in the U.S., or internationally. And I want to continue on that. And I forgot about the second part of your question. What brought me to dancing? Okay, cool. Yeah, but I love it. I'm passionate about it. I'm all about it.
Thank you so much.
Now I have two. No. Hi guys. My name is Joelle Hames. I'm here to support Celine Chandler here. But I am here to support everyone too. Going through the DMM process, you guys really have my heart. You don't understand. I know the stress, okay? But I'm nosy, so I need to know, why is Thick Teas no longer with us?
The tea is piping.
Let me. I'm just gonna reiterate the question for the camera purposes. So the question is for, what was the question?
They want to know the tea as to why Thick Teas is no longer around.
Well, the question is,
I can break it down for you.
Yeah, thank you. Why? What's the tea on Thick Teas? Why is it closing down?
So, I woke up to a message on Tuesday this week from one of the creators of Thick Teas saying that the group was like on pause and that they weren't gonna move forward with any events, and they were planning on attending the screening, and they wanted to let me know because they know I had poured a lot of time and effort into this documentary. And so I originally was like, oh, okay, like I wanted to know what was up. I wanted to know more. And slowly over the course of the week, I started to get pieces from not just the founder of Thick Teas, Lazy, who's primarily shown in the documentary, but also the dancers, that there was a lot of like inter-community like fighting about sort of the direction of the community organization. And while that's a huge bummer, like it's sad to hear like that infighting happens in communities that are really important. I think the thing that I took from the tea that is that they're no longer going to be there is that how important these spaces are. Because now that they're gone, there is no fat representation in the stripper community or the nightlife burlesque community in the Bay Area the way it used to be. And so I think that I was assured by many of the dancers that this won't be the end of that like push for that community and that representation for that community. But there is a lot of tea between like nightlife people. When you all get together at night and you're having a good time, tea is gonna be spilt. Thick Teas, although Thick Teas is not going to be like a thing traditionally, I know that if you look out in the next coming years, if you follow me, I'm definitely going to be posting about any of the events that the dancers will be doing. You can follow me. My name is Alyssa. My Instagram is Alyssa the Sex Wizard. I'm a sex educator, so that's why. That's my day job. If you follow me, I definitely am trying to amplify as many of those dancers as possible because they're all incredibly talented and they all have so much to bring to the nightlife community. And also, Oasis in San Francisco is a place that like fundamentally supported Thick Teas and like supports having fat dancers on their stage, which is not something that a lot of nightlife accepts on stages. A lot of traditional strip clubs and a lot of traditional nightlife that is outside of queer communities don't accept people with fat bodies on their stages. And so if you're looking to see fat bodies represented on stage, Oasis, SF, a really great place to support.
Thank you so much. Do we have any other questions? I think we have time for like 2 more questions.
I have a question. I'm back here. You want me up there?
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine.
Cool.
What's your question?
Well, my
what
name-
is your name and who are you here to support?
Hey, you ain't got to tell me twice. I'm ready. My name is Miguel Osuna. I'm here to support E, who's a golden light in the community right now. So check it out. I'm also a creative, and one day I go to get coffee in Nirvana Soul, and he is like, Miguel, dude, somebody broke into my car and stole my hard drive with all my content for this documentary. So I'm pleasantly surprised to see that E was able to deliver. I was wondering, all of y'all who just started doing, creating really, did you guys encounter anything like this? Or, is your stuff backed up? I'm just kind of,
So the question is, it's a broad question for anyone to answer. What was the biggest, craziest thing that happened similar to E's, like a struggle, like a big thing that deterred you?
So when I was transferring, all right, so basically this is what happened. I was doing it on Premiere Rush. It wouldn't export, so I was like, all right, it's all good. I could do it in Premiere Pro. While I was trying to do it in Premiere Pro, at some point, I don't know what I did, but I basically almost destroyed the interview that I did. It was a 19-minute interview and pretty much all the footage, and I almost lost all of it. And then I don't know how I got it back, but I had it hidden, tucked away somewhere in my work computer, so I was able to get it back and actually fix it and just go back and redo the whole thing. But yeah, so first I initially lost all the editing progress, and then I almost lost the whole video, but I was able to get it back. Yeah.
Damn, well, I'm glad you got it back.
I'm glad you did too. In September, I had a birthday, and I went to Mexico. Thank you, Costas. I went to Mexico, and I'm day 2 into my trip, and I was taking a video out with my friends, and one of them is here today, Deb. And my phone just completely shuts off. It's hella hot out there, and it just goes off. I don't know if it was the heat or what. I don't know what. But anyways, the point is my phone just went out, and it would not turn back on. And I was without a phone the whole trip, and I had to get a new phone. And had it not been for my brother and his girlfriend, shout out to them for blessing me with a SD card, in your phone that I never really had before they gave it to me. And I'm so glad I had one, because it had a whole bunch of memories of footage that's on this video throughout all of my experiences with the people I've collaborated with. And had I not had that backed up, I would have lost so much footage and so much videos I took. Around that time. So I'm very blessed.
Backing up is important.
Yeah, so back up your stuff maybe on a monthly basis. Mm-hmm. It's real, and I'm so glad.
One piece of advice I would have for all of y'all going forward is back it up, and this might sound insane, 3 different places, meaning your computer, your hard drive, and a third secret place that because
Google
you never
Drive.
you
Google
honestly
Drive
you
too.
never know, and all the money and all the tears that go into shooting the film, that would suck if it just got lost with some technical error. So what are y'all gonna do when you go home? You're gonna back it up in how many different places?
3.
4, yeah. Put a hard drive on your Christmas wish list. Are you hearing this? Your filmmakers want hard drives. Thank you guys so much for the audience questions. We are now going to do our closing ceremony. We're going to have y'all all come up one at a time. So can all of y'all sit down? We'll have Celine stay. Yeah, so we are going to start. First up is Celine Chandler. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Celine. This is your time for any closing remarks, any last thing you want to leave the audience with.
Thank you all for hearing my story, and please feel free to share it with others for educational purposes. If you or someone you know has lived experience of being homeless, please get involved at the Lived Experience Advisory Board. We are out here making a difference. There are folks right now doing outreach in the rain, believe it or not. There are folks who have to sleep in this weather right now. So if you have someone that you know that would like to get involved, please do feel free to reach out to myself or CreaTV, and they can get a hold of me. Thank you.
Thank you, Celine. Give it up for Celine, everybody. Can we please get a chair for her in the front as well? Crew, come on. All right. Thank you. Henry Fan. Here you go, Henry. Handshake. Oh! Congratulations. Congratulations. Last words, last remarks on your film. What would you like to leave the audience with?
If there's one thing I like to leave the audience with, first, thank you so much for being here. I mean, just gratitude, right? Immense gratitude for you all. But second, I would say that you all can really learn anything you set your mind to, whether it's for a promotion, for a career change. Define learning as, process of change, changes in beliefs, behaviors, attitudes, and knowledge. You got this.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you so much. On Lee. Woo! Any last words, remarks about filmmaking, DocuMentorMe, your film? Now is the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, An. Thank you. We love it. Short and sweet. E. Here is your rose that matches your hair. Let's take a picture. Alrighty, last remarks. Go for it.
Yes. If you want to create something, just do it. Never stop creating. I have a friend who always tell me, hit every crevice of your creativity. Whatever it is, just do it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Xavier. Woo! These are so nice. Can I have one? Thank you. Here you go. Here is your rose. And let's take a little picture. Right here, right here. You're good, you're good. Last words, last remarks.
So, I'm not too sure why, but some of the audio didn't actually play. However, the full audio, it did upload to YouTube. So if you guys want to, and you see one of these posters hanging around downtown someday, just go ahead, scan the QR code on it, and you guys can watch it on YouTube.
In addition, Xavier is also a musician, and he has little cards with QR codes to his, was it SoundCloud or YouTube? Everything, yeah. Check out his music, you guys. He's really good. Mauricio. Oh, he's right there. Here you go, man. All right, last remarks. What do you want to leave the audience with?
I heard this from Constance, and it really struck me. She said, "None of this literally existed until you did it." So, all of your guys' documentaries did touch me. So, thank you all.
Thank you. That was so beautiful. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect.
I learned so much from you about housing, not gonna lie. I don't I don't know anything about housing. Ty. My fellow dancer. Here you go. Thank you. Ty, do you want to do a dance performance for us? I'm just kidding. No pressure. Next time, buy your tickets.
Something I would leave you guys with is whatever you love to do, your gift will make room for you. Whatever you want to do, just don't give up. Just keep hope. And if you'd like to follow me, my Instagram is simply Ty. And my new business I just started this year, it's __ Kuumba, if you would like to follow more African dancing. Thank you.
Kuumba means community, no? Yeah. Creativity, yeah. Kia Bet. Here you go. Alrighty, Kia Bet. Last remarks for the audience. What would you like them to know?
I just want to thank DocuMentorMe and CreaTV for helping me share something very personal and giving me space to do that, because we all know our TVF and SJSU would have never let me do this. But thank y'all for letting me do that, and thank you to all my friends and supporters for coming here. Thank you so much. I wish you got but thank you. Yeah, love y'all. Thank you for seeing this and like letting me share this with y'all. Love y'all.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, last but not least is Alyssa. You're welcome. Yes. All right, Alyssa, close us out.
I would love to say thank you to the people in this room who came to see this documentary that I made, as well as the documentary that everyone else made. The only people I talk to are in this room right now. My 3 friends and my 3 family members. So I'm really glad that they showed up. And I guess the last thing I would say is that stay tuned, because this is the first thing that I've ever created, and you'll be seeing me out in these film streets. So.
Alrighty, you guys. Did we have fun today? I'm so glad. I have closing remarks from Frankie. Frankie, everybody.
Hello, everybody. I am the Education and Community Manager here at CreaTV San Jose. I would just like to say for everyone who's come to support our filmmakers that they have done an incredible amount of work over the past 15 weeks. And this is on top of, work, family, friends, all of that. People are putting in their time to come in on Saturdays to learn with us, putting in time outside of class to work on their documentaries. So just know that what you see here was an incredible amount of work. So I'd love to just hear another round of applause for the hard work everyone put into the program. And to all of our participants, I am so proud of you. It's really incredible to see you go from, just having this idea of the documentary you want to make, learning all the different technical skills. One thing that I always tell people about filmmaking is that it's an incredible collection of different types of skills that you need. Not only do you need to be a cinematographer, you also need to be an editor. You need to be a project manager. You also need to be really good at convincing people to be in your documentary. We also, the slides we had playing earlier were press kits that all of our filmmakers made. So you're also a marketer. You're also a graphic designer. There's an incredible amount of skills that you all learned over 15 weeks, which is not very long. So I just want to commend all of you. And we are going to have more snacks and more photo taking opportunities over in large collaboration room 2 after this. You're welcome to hang out. We'll be wrapping up around 9, but we have lots of donuts and lots of popcorn that we would love for folks to eat because we don't want to have any left over. And we also have 2 galleries that are open. We have Works Gallery and Chopsticks Alley. Please feel free to check out the art there as well. So thank you so much for joining us and supporting local storytelling and local art. And with that, I will pass it back to Gurprashad.
Yeah, guys, I just want to remind y'all that we 2023 is a big year for CreaTV. So, I mean, we just opened the space this year. Next year, we have a lot of exciting things. Next year, we're planning to have more facilities open. We want to have more educational opportunities, editing class, production classes. Yeah, and we're also going to be open for, as Chad mentioned, renting facilities. Not necessarily just filmmaking stuff. If you need to do meetings, if you need just a space to meditate, we're here. We're open. We're San Jose. Yeah, and that's it. Our grand opening is June 10th. Mark it on your calendars. I will see all of you there. I'm really good at memorizing faces. June 10th. Mark it on your calendars. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Music, please.